Photography, it goes back to the first time I was having a camera, which was when I was a teenager, right before moving to Germany. My dad gave me a camera, and I was always carrying this camera. And well, to tell you a little bit more, when I grew up in Cali, and then I went as an exchange student for a year to Germany, and after that, after that year, I moved to Miami, where I finished high school and I started the university. But in terms of the camera, that camera I was carrying with me at all times, and I was always taking photos in Germany. And then when I moved back to Miami, I was always carrying this little camera with me because back then, of course, there were no cameras on the phone, and I was always with my camera taking pictures of every single thing that would happen during the day or every single thing that I would find interesting. So I would go to a lunch and I'd be taking pictures of the chairs, of the flower arrangements, or the bed, or the table, or the food itself, or the people, or if there was a cat passing, or a person, or a bicycle. So I was always carrying this camera, and I would get home and check in the computer and browse through the images and select them. And I kept doing this for many years. But when I graduated high school, I maybe could have studied photography, but back then in that moment, I didn't see it as a job or as a career, and I ended up studying business management, which I don't regret, but well, I think everything happens for a reason, and I really don't regret studying business management. But but photography was always part of my life. At every since I had the first time hands on a camera, I was always photographing at all times, every single thing. Like my friends would know that every time we would go out, that I would be having a camera and that we would have pictures of the outing at all times because people was coming and I was always with my camera. So it was when I was 25 or 24 to 25, that I realized that the camera, despite it not being my work, because back then it was not my work, it was something that it was like natural to me and that it was a part of me. So that's when I decided to go and study photography, and I went to Italy. And in Italy, the photography course, the 3 years program, was about all photography in general. So they would teach you of all kinds of photography. It was not specialized in one route of photography, except for the third year. In the third year, people would either go for fashion photography or still life or portraits or photojournalism or architecture or sports, all the different routes of photography. And mine, I kind of made it up. I was really thinking, okay, mine doesn't like align to some extent with this kind of routes, but not completely. And I made up, I guess, the concept of photographing the passions of people. What is it that people connect most in life with? And and then my thesis was exactly that, to show how this photography would look and what is it about. So I was asking friends there in Italy, oh, can I photograph you doing what you like to do the most? And then, okay, I like to go with my dog to the park. Okay, let's do that. Oh, I like to go to this little ice cream shop so much. Oh, okay, let's go do this photo shoot around the ice cream. Oh, I love to be with my friends having wine. Okay, let's do that. Whatever someone would be passionate about, I would do a photo shoot. So I created this portfolio, which was my thesis, and a website, which was the portfolio thesis, and that's how it started. That's how it started in the sense to photograph people's passions. But the part of keeping on doing it in a recurring basis to each person, it came organically again after maybe 3 years of having started that, because I graduated in 2010. I moved back from Italy to Miami, and I started working doing this photography that I just told you about, which is around what you like the most. But maybe after 2 3 years of having some clients that I kept on repeating 1 2 three more times, I thought, okay, I'm gonna do a book to this person without them knowing, and I would give them this book as a gift, and then they're like, oh, I love this, and how in the book would have the pictures that we did 3 years ago, then 2 years ago, and then the current year pictures, and that's when I realized that it was a thing, and I call it a photobiography, and that's when I renamed that website to the photobiographer, and that's how I started with the documentation of people's lives through photography.